by the sound of violence.
You know, I just can't imagine being that selfish as I was at, 25. Like, I don't know. And so I think when you see a lot of these older guys, they get in there and they look a little gun shy, but the reality is they've just grown as men. They've grown as people, and fighting, I think, is in some ways a young man's game. Even if you have the knowledge, you just don't have the same hunger to want to punch somebody right in the fucking face. And you know what I'm talking about. When you're young, you just want to hit people in the face. I mean, and that goes away. That's a real thing.
About it all.
And of course I could. What up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast to let you know the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week, as well as we try and check out a new show. I am Pulver, and I am back yet again with my co-host, Chris Madaffer. How's it going, man?
All is well, man. Had a nice Thanksgiving, had a good weekend, ate very well, had seconds, and then had a bunch of leftovers again and again, man. That's why Thanksgiving's the best. Eat good for the whole weekend.
That's right. That and the weed that helps carry it through. I guess my hat's to tell. You guys can't, or Chris can't see on this stream, but I might be a little on the nose this week with our plans. But anyway, before we get to any of that, Chris, do you want to start us off with our super legit, totally not fake Mma Vodka presents Doug Stanhope presents our sponsors?
Of course, this is a beer.
Or actually, before you get to that, we should say, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we should say we're not going to do a recap of this weekend's card because really nobody needs that. And we're not going to do a preview of next week's card because that's a million years away and no one's still going to be on it by then. However, in the second segment, we will be doing a special commentary for a movie. I guess technically it'll come out in two separate episodes. So we're going to do our regular first segment where we talk about all the MMA podcasts and everything. And the second segment, which would normally be our recap or breakdown, we are going to do a probably Tuesday-ish is when I think Tuesday or Wednesday I'll get it edited and posted. But we are, that is a real good reference in chat that I'm going to get to in a second. But we are going to be doing a commentary, not live, unfortunately, although we should do a commentary live sometime. I guess we maybe could do it live. I don't know. Hey, people in chat, let us know if you want us to do this commentary live. But we are going to be doing a commentary in the second segment for the brand new movie Jiu-Jitsu starring Nick Cage. So let us know your thoughts on that. But before we get to any of that, we got our first segment where we're going to talk about MMA podcasts. Because, Chris, it's been a weird week for MMA podcasts, but actually a fair number did come out. And huge respect to the people who actually did content this week. Because a holiday week with a weak card and the main event fell out, which was pretty much the only thing notable on it. It's a tall order for a lot of MMA podcasts, so it was cool to see some people put out some content,
Yeah, I agree. And also because there was another certain card that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Another
top-notch, high-quality, super relevant card that went on this weekend. But before we get to any of that, Chris, why don't you start us off with your Mma Vodka presents Doug Stanhope presents your sponsor.
So I have not had this beer in I think a couple of years. I'm not sure how old this beer is. I do remember when I first tried this beer, It was maybe like $13, 13 something after tax for a 6-pack of it, which was an absolute steal. And then they wised up, and now it's like about $20 for a 6-pack. These are pint-sized 6-pack, so I think it's pretty fair.
It's got to be Pizza Port then, right?
Yep.
I don't know who else
think
sells
you know what
pint-sized.
Guinness is.
Oh, I bet I do. Is it a porter?
Yes, it is.
That's one of my favorite beers of all time.
Yep, we got good old bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs is the best fucking pizza porter that is around by far. Coffee porter, if I remember right, with Bird Rock Coffee, correct?
Yeah, there it is. Bird Rock Coffee Roasters.
Yeah, and if you guys have not been to Bird Rock, if you haven't been to San Diego, this will come up later. Actually, we'll get back to this.
Specifically, it's in the good old neighborhood of La Jolla, if I recall.
Technically, it's in the good old neighborhood of Bird Rock, which is technically between La Jolla and PB. It's like right
I'd like
around.
to remind
people
people from La Jolla that no, you're not a city.
Dude, they really think they are though.
It's comedy.
Well, to be fair, they are just like Santee, technically their own city, because they're rich enough or white enough. I don't know. Though I would say one of those two are more relevant in the two areas than the other.
I'll say this: if someone ever from La Jolla says, "Okay, yeah, we're our own city," like fuck you. I'm like, okay, who can you name your city councilman or your mayor?
Wow, but Santee though is literally actually its own city. They have their own police department and shit. Yeah.
It's just La Jolla is rich enough and
it's like
kind of
it's like Coronado,
narcissistic enough to get their own postal code. Is all it really is.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
yeah, but I guess shouts to the white people that be hating up to the north of me. Since I'm it's so nice to not be near Santee and to be way closer to the beach in La Jolla. Oh my god, it's great. I've been loving PB. You guys are gonna hear a lot. You guys are gonna hear a lot of PB and weed talk from me this week.
I'm saying you're a little bit, southwest of your Claremont roots.
I mean, basically. I mean, to be fair, PB and Claremont are so adjacent. Like anybody, if you're getting drunk in Claremont, you end up at PB at some point, and probably vice versa, depending. So that's how it goes. But anyway, Chris, so that is one of my favorite porters of all time. You said they raised it to about $20 for the 6-pack.
I know for a fact.
That's still such a crazy deal.
It's a great deal still, but I remembered when I first bought it. Maybe it was a liquor store that fucked up, but I'm almost 100% sure everywhere you look, it was like $13, $14.
Oh, yeah. Wow. See, I think if I remember right, the Par had it for like right around maybe 15 or 16, but dude, that's
15.
It's an Imperial Porter too, isn't it? Because it's like 8%.
It's 8%. So it's on Imperial is basically 8%.
It's like right on the edge. Porters are also weird too. Like it's not always a 1-to-1 on Imperial versus non-Imperial porters. So that's fucking fantastic though. I'm very excited about that. So big shouts out to Pizza Port, and also shouts out to Phil from the Fight Site in chat, saying that you're looking like McConaughey in Interstellar, which I'm fucking 100% here for.
Who, you or me? 'Cause
You.
I can't see you. You, right? As far as what, like the hair or some shit, or the fucking.
I mean, you got the
jacket.
I was gonna say that hair jacket combo, bro, is pretty goddamn powerful, as Joe Rogan would say. Actually, let's not quote Joe Rogan's white ass.
Yeah,
anymore.
I know, because I just saw a meme today about that. It says he's very. I don't want to misquote it, but it's basically saying he's very smart if you're. I don't know, but it's bro science.
100%. Well, only Joe Rogan can ruin an episode with Mike Tyson and the dude from the Ghetto... Or Mike Tyson. What the fuck am I talking about? With Mike Judge and a dude from the Ghetto Boys. Only Joe Rogan can make that boring.
Wait, Mike Judge was just on?
Oh, yeah. Guess what he talked to Mike Judge about? He mentioned for 2 seconds that he loved Beavis and Butthead when he first started smoking weed, and that's it. And he just talked to the dude from the Ghetto Boys the whole time. So if you guys are looking for a skip this week, it's not MMA related, but...
Oh, so the Ghetto Boys, I know it's like Scarface. I know Bushwick Bill died, and then there was the other... I should know all their names.
It was... I forget dude's name off the top of my head. Jerry Mike Judge. It is Willie D.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Maybe I'll listen to that, but I'm probably going to just be insulted because he'll probably just barely mention like that or even King of the Hill or Idiocracy.
Oh, he didn't mention King of the Hill at all. Everyone on Reddit was so mad. They're in Texas. He has Mike Judge on and he doesn't even bring up King of the Hill. He didn't. I gave up an hour and a half in after Mike Judge didn't talk and they didn't. Joe Rogan loves to talk about Idiocracy. It's one of the 4 movies he's ever seen that isn't something Eddie Bravo recommended, and he didn't even mention. I don't think he knows it's by Mike Judge. How about that? So, yeah, it's fucking disappointing. But I guess that's a good segue into, well, actually, Idiocracy is a great segue into my beer for this week. Also, shouts to Fight Saint Phil clarifying that calling you McConaughey in Interstellar was a compliment. I feel like anytime you get called McConaughey,
if I'm associated with McConaughey and you're talking about me, I'm very complimented. That kid's a good looking man.
There's only one way it's not a compliment, and that's if he's calling you Chris D'Elia adjacent. Because there is you gotta be careful if you get it all right nowadays. It is also, speaking of which, I pointed out to you, which superfan Gio, who of course have Loveline fame and Adam Carolla and all that stuff. I love Gio. He's one of my good buddies. But he pointed out to me this week how much the Fighter and the Kid Reddit have been going ham on on both Brendan Schaub and Brian Cowan. And holy shit,
dude, that was so fucking funny.
If you guys have not seen the TFATK Reddit subreddit, you should go look at that because they're just bodying dudes every week in like the roughest way. It's pretty beautiful. So I highly recommend that because it's really goddamn funny. But anyway, that is a good segue, like I said, from, what was it? Oh, Idiocracy to my beer for this week. I'm actually drinking Budweiser. I don't know if I've ever actually done this on the show. I might have during like, I don't know, like Mardi Gras week or something like that because that's something I would do. You can't go to New Orleans and not have a Budweiser. And a shot of Jameson. That's just how that shit works. But I'm drinking the sweater, the ugly sweater pack of Budweiser this week. Mostly because in the second segment, I am going to be drinking. Well, I did save, first off, Chris, I'd like to say, for our commentary, I did buy myself, for the first time in actually a little bit, because I don't normally buy 40s. But, of course, I had to get a 40s, a Mickey 40s, a 40 of Mickey's. God damn it. Just for the Nick Cage movie. It seems about appropriate, right?
I mean, it's going to be a wild movie, so you kind of got to get wild.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I also have weed prepared and stuff. But speaking of having weed prepared, the other thing I am going to say is my super official, not totally fake sponsor this week. Although I might say it's a totally fake sponsor since this company is gray market as fuck. But if I can get this goddamn weed gummy out of this goddamn package, what I just popped in my mouth was a 50 milligram sativa edible from Bomb Bites. This is a gray market as fuck company. You can't get it anywhere legit. It's a 500 milligram package. You can't buy those in California legally. So, I don't know. I came across it. However, the secret to these packages is they coat the gummies in, they make the gummies, I believe, with distillate. However, the gummies always end up melting partially to the package. So, if you're a delinquent like myself, you get yourself some Navy strength rum, which is, I believe, was 50%, 57% alcohol. You pour a shot into the plastic edible bag to then strip all of the weed out of it. You shake it up and you take that shot, and you have a heck of a time with a jiu-jitsu movie later on. So that's my plan for this, and I'm pretty excited about it. Also, I think this bag might have a leak because it smells like funky bananas in here. Also, I'm drinking it's the Smith & Cross rum. This is probably my favorite rum of all time. least for the price. It's butterscotch and funky bananas in the best way, and I am absolutely here for it. Probably my favorite rum for painkillers specifically, also. But yeah, that is my plan. Is I'm gonna get real high for this thing.
Good luck, man. Because like I said, I can't do that.
Well, I figure about an hour from now, when we kick this commentary off, shit's gonna get real wild. So, Chris, on that note,
or in the case of the movie, shit's gonna get magical.
Or outer spatial,
out of this world.
Yeah, it'll be out of this world. It's gonna be fucking tubular, dog. Well, on that note,
it's gonna be cosmic. It's gonna be intergalactic.
Yeah, 100%. I can.
Or in the case of McConaughey, interstellar.
Oh, full circle. All right. On that note,
so during the rest of this time, do I just got to be talking like this, with like my hand, like the stupid car commercials? Like I was listening to Joe Rogan before it was cool. I'm just kind of looking.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. Just be side eyeing underage girls the whole time, and it'll be.
It's okay, abandoned skit.
Yeah. So cheers on the now weed shot of Smith and Cross.
Good luck.
God, that rum is so delicious. It's crazy how good that rum is. All right, well, now that we have now that I have gone through all of the bad ideas I had in my head for our commentary later, that need about an hour to kick in, we're going to go ahead and make this shit pop off. So, Chris, you want to tell the people how you're a delinquent? You didn't even listen to Mma Podcast this week?
I listened to, actually, let me
I guess that makes you not a delinquent.
I think I listened to like 2.
Oh, shit. Chris might have a catch. Because as far as I knew, Chris didn't listen to shit.
No, I didn't. I didn't write any notes. Okay. I did listen to some Believe You Me today.
Oh, which one? There's 2 of them. It was shit.
The one. Fuck.
Here, I got it.
The one from 2 days ago.
Okay. There was a number on that. I just fucking
275.
Thank you. I knew it ended in a 5. Yeah, multiples of 17, I believe.
But the thing is, I didn't even finish the entire episode, so I didn't even get to hear them what they thought of the wonderful boxing card. That was not one. Well, I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, there's gonna be some talk about some events that happened, huh? Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. Anyway,
and a certain look that was copped from. Yeah, I'll talk about it.
Yeah. So we will get there. I guess at some point while I'm getting through this stuff. But I actually did listen to podcasts this week because I'm a fucking delinquent and I need something to do. Goddammit, during the day while I'm working. Which is why this show exists. It's because I found myself listening to way too much MMA podcasts, and I'm like, there's no way anyone else is listening to this much of this shit. And I just need to yell about how terrible some of this content is, or how good some of it is. So on that note, Chris, I have a whole bunch of catches, and not one goddamn can't miss this week. I will say, since Phil from the Fight Site's in chat, I definitely the big gap in content I felt like this week was from the Fight Site. At least in the shit I normally listen to, which, I mean, understandable of anybody this week. It's a really bad card. It was a fucking awful card. And there wasn't a ton of stuff outside of the UFC to really talk about either. So I don't blame anybody for it. And I absolutely...
And shouts out to... I don't know if they're really social media presence on Twitter, but on Instagram, as shopped as it gets. Remember, I sent you that. It reminded me of Best Casual MMA, where it's like, when people say the card this weekend isn't stacked, and there's the photo of Rachel Ostovich at her weigh-in.
Yeah, Rachel Ostovich back-take GIF, fucking, is about all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that was pretty spicy.
Reddit. A lot of people on Twitter got real up in their feels on that one.
Yeah.
Phil, shouts out to Phil, who's absolutely correct. He's putting that work in. Phil, also, if you guys do not follow Phil on Twitter, I'm going to butcher I know it's ASAP. It is ASAP_PIPA, has been killing it with some threads of boxing breakdowns and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in that, he has been killing it with that shit. But I'm going to go ahead and get to my first catch this week, which we heard the clip from. I mean, full disclosure, this is this person who co-hosted on... Well, first off, I'd like to say, like, Chris, I feel like we should give ourselves a little bit of credit because we do listen to a lot of shows that we don't necessarily like the hosts of, or even the shows in general. But I still, like, this week I listened to UFC Unfiltered. That show sucks a lot of the time. It, like, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it does, and I do like Matt Serra. I don't mind Jim Norton,
but it's just so week to week dependent and guest dependent.
Yeah, but I feel like half the time, and I understand because Matt's busy with his school, being a teacher, and then of course he's a wife and kids, so half the time he's there, half the time he's not, or vice versa with Jim Norton.
100%. But in chat, Phil killing it. Well, there's two big reasons why I love this episode. First off, the reason I got into Mma, if it's not obvious, having the last name Pulver, Jen's Pulver is a huge reason for that. And Jen's was the co-host on this episode, which I love Jen's for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's that dude has the clearest anxiety of a fighter outside of maybe the Diaz brothers when he speaks publicly, and I fucking love that shit because I am absolutely that dude in my head. I like to think I fake it pretty well, but in my head I sound like Jen's Pulver all the time. And honestly, depending on how many drinks I've had or what time of day it is, I do sound a lot like Jen's Pulver. So I'm just always related to that dude with that stuff anyway. That's why I like the Diaz brothers as well. And I know it can be a hard listen for some people, but it's that you can feel how close to his thoughts he is when he says stuff out of his mouth, which I appreciate the shit out of. And it was a great contrast against a guy like Saif Saud, who is the guest, who we've said on this podcast, we're huge Saif Saud fans. I think that dude is...
He's the head coach at Fortis, right? In Texas?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's transforming dudes' careers the second they step into his gym. And it's immediately clear. Like, if you take a fighter who is a little bit listless inside the cage and could really benefit from just being able to cut the cage, work behind a jab, and throw calf kicks, like, if they have a wild game, like Uriah Hall is the perfect example of this, where his game is so wild, but if you could just teach him how to cut the cage, work behind a jab, and throw calf kicks to set up wild shit, his game completely works different, and we kind of see that underneath Saif. And I just think Safe's one of the brightest. Him and Eugene Behrman are clearly, in my opinion, two of the brightest minds in coaching right now in MMA. And it stands out every single time they get on mic. And this is a great example of it. You guys heard the clip in the intro, but I've heard a lot. We all know about fighters being hesitant in fights and having trouble pulling the trigger, especially the later they go in their career, especially the more damage they've taken. However, I've never heard anyone talk about it in the way that Saif did in this episode, where Saif basically says, like, listen, you kind of grow as a person, and at a certain point, it gets hard to deliver that kind of punishment to another human being. And so a lot of times when you see older guys pull the trigger, it's because they're not that same savage they were when they were 20. They've kind of grown as people. And I've never heard that even addressed or discussed or mentioned at all.
That's really insightful.
It's crazy insight. It's so insightful that Jen's Pulver literally was like, "Holy shit!" Like, he's like, "You're kind of explaining a lot of my life to me right now in a weird way." So I thought it was fucking fantastic. Also, Phil in chat shouting out Diego Ferreira, who says that he can't stop talking about how great Saif is. I mean, Carlos Diego Ferreira. It looks fucking again, another dude.
He just got a fight book too.
Exactly, and it's another dude who benefited so much from just being able to work behind kind of like when you set up the like wildness of his game behind cutting the cage and like basically forcing people into situations where he can do wild shit and they just have to react and hope it goes well. Safe is, I think, one of the Macy Chasson, I think, is somebody who like once Safe has a little bit more time with her, especially with her build in that division, I think she's gonna be a fucking problem for a lot of people. So really interesting. But yeah, Phil mentions it's what happened with Lawler. It feels like that, right? Because Robbie Lawler had that fucking, I mean, he always had the I would take more than his neck comment about Conor McGregor. I'd take his soul shit. And like, you don't hear those comments out of Robbie Lawler as much anymore. And it happened right around the time. And you got to imagine how, at a certain point, I always wonder how much these dudes start seeing the damage they inflict on other people, and it starts freaking them out or they start seeing the damage that's been inflicted on themselves, and it starts to freak them out about continuing to inflict that damage on other people, right? Like, I mean, it's just human fucking nature. At a certain point, you're like, Jesus, I've been hit with shit way less than what I just hit that dude with, and it still fucks me up. So, it's one of those things that Safe is one of the few coaches in the sport who would not only be willing to have that conversation, but be willing to have that conversation with two dudes who are also retired and two dudes who have also like kind of gone through that same stuff. And I don't know. I just really think that Safe is somebody to pay attention to. Everything he says is very, very, very like well thought out, and I feel like me and him would absolutely not get along because I am a fucking drunkard who without focus, and he is the exact opposite of that. But I love that shit. Like, he is absolutely militant in the way he runs camps, and it shows in the way his fighters are able to completely kind of pick up on his style and kind of focus on that. So I just think it's one of the coolest interviews you'll hear this week. And yeah, man, don't ever let it be said that UFC doesn't make good content or even good MMA podcasts. UFC Unfiltered is fucking great sometimes, and this is a great example of it. So
yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm a big fan of Jens Pulver. I like Safe Sode and just his gym and who's coming out of that gym, especially.
I'm a huge
just an impeccable roster of just solid fighters up and coming.
I think he's up to 18
prospects,
now
veterans.
in the UFC, which is
yeah,
crazy.
And you mentioned Eugene Barham, and I actually do recall I did listen to an interview he had with Submission Radio, which is pretty solid. It was about 28 minutes long.
Yeah, that just came out not that long ago.
So yeah, I just didn't write any notes, but I just remember it was solid all the way through. A lot of it was just talk about Adesanya preparing for Jan Blachowicz, and then how his thoughts on John Jones, of course, and what's going on there, and
for sure.
Yeah, it was just a solid interview, and you could tell Barman really, really does tape study too. Really studies all of the opponents, all potential opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he of course already has his eye on Alex Pereira, too.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks it's inevitable that Pereira comes to the UFC. I don't know how old Alex Pereira is.
I don't.
But I can see that.
In my head. Yeah. Definitely, it's interesting for sure. If I remember right, also in that Saif Saud interview, he was towards the end. Matt mentioned that essentially Weidman versus Uriah Hall is booked. The rematch of that, and Matt's
10
like,
years later.
Yeah, and Matt's like, fucking. He's like, oh, Saif. I wish it bums me out that they have to fight. I mean, they're. But yeah, I mean, it would bum me out too, because I think Chris Weidman's gonna get jabbed the fuck up and calf kicked the fuck up, and it's gonna go bad late. But then again, who knows?
It's a one fight I would have liked would be prime Chris Weidman versus Adesanya, just to see if he could take him down and kind of keep him there, based on what he did to Anderson.
I mean, I think early Adesanya fight would have looked a lot like Weidman versus Uriah Hall back at ROC back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think it would have looked pretty similar, where it's just Chris Weidman being able to close distance and get takedowns in ways that, like, makes it real tough for Adesanya to just keep blending styles quick enough to keep up. But yeah, I thought it was a great episode for sure. Let's see. So some other catches for me this week, since like I said, I have all catches. The Body Lock. They did a Ryzen 25 live intermission show with Pat Auger and Drake Riggs. This was a lot of fun. The Ryzen card was, first off, so much better paced. They finally fixed their like 2-hour intermission problem that they've been having for a long time, which is a huge improvement. But it was really cool to hear Pat and Drake get on and just kind of talk about the card, talk about the fights that they have coming up, recap the ones that happened, just kind of talk shit and talk about how wild Ryzen is. I loved it. I hope they do more of them going forward. There's not a lot of content around Ryzen stuff, and a lot of that's Ryzen's own fault at this point, because they basically tried their best to completely ruin their North American market, as far as I can tell, just with like bad streaming deals and bad fucking intermission, bro. Like the whatever that New Year's card was, it must have been like 2016, 2017, when there was like a 3-hour. There was a couple years there where they were doing 3-hour intermission breaks at midnight or 1 in the morning, and you're like, go fuck yourself, dude. It's New Year's Eve, and I'm even not able to do this kind of shit. So overall, though, really really fun episode, and I hope they do more of them, because it's cool seeing not only content around Ryzen, but like kind of like live content around Ryzen, where it's instant reactions, instant like previews, that kind of stuff. Because you don't see a ton of it, so I liked it quite a bit.
So I know we briefly do news. I don't really have breaking news, but it was a rumor from a couple hours ago that was unfortunate.
Sure. Here, while you do that, I'm gonna pop one of these Petra Mints edibles.
There was a rumor 7 hours ago that Khamzat Chimaev was COVID positive.
Got the Rona? Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is not true. The fight is still on. Also, the fight that's on is Diego Fajeda will be fighting Beneil Dariush on February 6th. And then there was another instance where Dana White last night was asked about what is going on with Yair Rodriguez.
Oh, that was weird.
It was kind of interesting the way he answered that. He says it's a personal matter that he can't speak on, and obviously I'm not a fucking body language expert. Based on how Dana answered, I think that Yair is involved in some sort of legal trouble, whether it's a crime or...
See, I thought that at first too, however...
Did he get popped for roids? I don't know what's going on.
So Zane Simon mentioned that it's most likely USADA because A, UFC can't technically comment on USADA cases before they've been announced. B, UFC can't comment on testing unless the fighter has talked about it. They can say someone is suspended by USADA. They can't talk about why they're suspended unless the fighter themselves talk about it. So that makes sense why Dana would then look over to somebody and be like, hey, has that been said yet? And everybody goes, no. And he goes, well, as the UFC, we can't talk about it. So I think that's probably what it was. Anybody want to put money on Osterine or what did Frank... It was Osterine that Frank Mir popped for? Or what did Canelo pop for?
Like Turinabol.
Turinabol.
That's really
Turinabol. Wait, that's what Canelo,
Osterine
right?
Was your boy Sean O'Malley.
I know. But what did Canelo pop for? Because that's what it's going to be.
Bro, it was tainted meat. No, I can't remember.
I mean, yeah, in what country, Chris?
Mexico.
Okay. Totally probably isn't that then. Oh, yeah. I forget what it was.
Yeah, no, I was going to say tainted meat with a sprinkle of steroids on top.
This looks like it says cianbuterol, but I think that's probably racist, so I don't think it's actually that.
Would you say CN?
Oh, clenbuterol. Clenbuterol.
Oh, I said CN as in like 100 butyrol.
It looked like CN, yeah. It looked like CIEN. It was CLEN. Pretty close.
Like, no, bro, it's albuterol. He's got that asthma.
Yeah, dog. He's gonna hit that. Steroids. He's gonna hit that Greg Hardy inhaler during rounds. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Some assholes say, yo, man, pass that. Can I get a hit of that Hardy?
Don't ask for a hit of the Hardy. Depending on what room you're in, you might not leave that room.
Yeah.
Or you're going to get thrown on a pile of guns. Anyway, on that note, I do.
I feel hardy on your back.
Oh god damn it. Well, just gonna go ahead and keep on moving on. I do have some more. I have two more catches for this week. 1-2 Punch, the Fightful MMA show that came out on November 27th, 2020. This is the one hosted by Shaq, formerly of, because I'm not going to try and butcher Shaq's last name, I'm not even going to lie, formerly of the Pull No Punches podcast with Kashawn Johnson. And he had Dan Tom on as a guest. Number one, I am convinced that Shaq at least is aware of this show, or me and him just love all the same people, because that motherfucker, his guest list looks like a catch list from this show. It's pretty great. I mean, everybody from like Sean Sheehan, this week was Dan Tom. He's had a ton of people on in the past, so I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I mean, you already know if Shaq is going to be making title cards for people where sometimes he does, you know, that classic UFC, like, no known weaknesses title card that they did for Vitor.
Yeah, I think so.
So, Shaq basically will do like a title card of like things that someone is known for. And for Dan Tom, the title card said, Dan is a former gym punching bag. He's Scottie Pippen's biggest fan, and he's a Gaspar Noé enthusiast, which...
That's pretty good.
It's real good, except, you can't be putting people out on blast like that for being a Gaspar Noé enthusiast. That is, it is, you know, not everybody wants that shit out there. I'm happy to talk about it because I'm a delinquent. And Dan is vaguely willing to talk about it because Dan is also vaguely a delinquent. But, Chris, have you ever seen any Gaspar Noé films? Like Irreversible or... Irreversible is the go-to answer. I think I quote it every goddamn week almost with Time Ruins Everything. But also... Sorry?
Gaspar Noé?
Yeah, Noe. You probably have not. If you haven't seen that or... what was the like DMT-ish kind of movie that he did after that I always...
No, but I like the look of all these films. Yeah,
yeah, cool. You might... Aesthetically, they are cool. Content-wise, careful, bro. Enter the Void is the other one I was thinking of. I'll just say, not for the faint of heart. I mean, it's not... Oh, there we go. Fucking Phil Young in chat, Enter the Void. Phil is absolutely another Gaspar Noé delinquent that... I feel like was on board with the fact that,
yeah,
it makes you a certain kind of person.
I know, you know, this dude's from Argentina when, like, some of his film names are in Italian.
No. He's French as fuck, isn't he?
Well, one of the films is an Italian name, and then...
Gaspar Noé? Gaspar Noé... I was going to say, Phil's literally shouting in chat, France represent. Yeah, no. He's French as shit.
I see. So it says he's an Argentine filmmaker based in Paris.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was originally Argentine
painter.
Yeah, I always knew he was French.
So he's just based in France, but he's it says he was born in Buenos Aires.
That's cool as shit. Yeah, very, very, like, honest, I'm being very serious when I say this. If you are, like, faint of heart, or, like, if fucked up movies, like, will stay with you in a way that, like, you don't like, don't watch his shit. I'm saying that. Saying that in a very serious way. Like,
there's a movie he did in 1991 called Carne, and it looks pretty fucked. Just based on the cover.
I've seen Enter the Void and Irreversible. And Irreversible, I can't look at fire extinguishers or long underground hallways the same since that movie. And I think no one else can.
It's like, is it gonna fuck you up? Like,
yes,
it's just fucked up. Like
imagine
Serbian
if
film?
Yes, it's the closest to Serbian film without newborn porn being literally shouted during it. Because that does happen during Serbian film. They do shout the phrase newborn porn. I made the mistake of watching Serbian film not that long ago. It's not, you don't need to see it. You know what it is. Chris, we are not a movie show. How do we get here? Oh, it's fucking Shaq and Dan Tom. God damn it. And Phil. I'm going to blame Phil. Time ruins everything. Exactly, Phil. Nailing it in chat. Oh my God, we are so off the rails. Chris, don't watch these. You're too good of heart
Yeah, it
to
looks
watch
like,
these movies. I'm telling you.
When you wait, say that again.
You're
Don't watch
too
it. Why?
good of heart to watch these movies. They'll make you feel bad for a week.
Dude, you don't think I've seen some terrible shit already? I've
No,
definitely not.
no. Different. No, dude. Okay, to be fair, you could handle them. I'm telling you, unless you want to feel weird for a couple days, I don't recommend watching these movies. Now, that being said, they're some of the greatest.
I almost want to say bring it on. I've already been going through some terrible shit for a good while, so I don't really think anything could honestly faze me for the shit that goes in my head.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just
not
saying
trying to get too personal. But...
No. I'm saying specifically these movies are. I want to warn everybody listening that if you are not into weird movies, don't watch Gasper Note movies. Stick to Interstellar, as Phil says in chat. Which
yeah, right.
Yeah, 100%. That being said, though, Gasper Note has made some of the movies that will stick with me the most throughout time, and he is actually the reason why I say I think Christopher Nolan is wildly overrated, especially the movie Memento kind of sucks in comparison. When this came out before, it is a way better movie for like a lot of reasons. Anyway, we're going to move on because I cannot keep talking about that without having to talk about horrible, horrible things. Fucking
That's fair.
Ambulance sound. All right, anyway, here we go. Let's see. Also in this 1-2 punch episode, I mean, anytime Dan Tom gets a chance to talk about Devin Clark's dad, I'm here for it. Devin Clark's dad is a main character on Dan Tom's preview show, and I love it every time. It's just a really fun episode. They also talk a bit about the Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight being the biggest fight of the biggest card of the weekend, honestly. They talk about how Mike Perry actually did get someone from r/MMA to corner him. You know that? The guy who cornered Perry was actually from Reddit.
I saved it on Reddit because someone made a video edit. It's called like "Baby, We Did It."
Yeah, he actually was the guy. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have
weird.
to look at it again. Yeah. I found it. I'll have to check it out.
Also,
Reddit MMA coaches Mike Perry, and this guy's like, "Baby, we did it."
Yeah, He to be fair, he was a better goddamn. He was a better goddamn cornerman than most of the cornermen Mike Perry's had. I believe it was Dan Tom said during this episode. Actually, at least it wasn't Alex Nicholson, right?
Yeah, that fucking asshole. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this video. I saved it on Reddit. So
yeah,
sure. Someone said, "No need to overdo it out there, Mike." It was like one of his advice, like in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Someone said, "I can't believe you actually told him to throw sand."
Yeah, there was some
amazing.
of that shit. It was real dumb. The other thing Dan said during this episode that I thought was really funny, and kind of one of the most savage comparisons I've heard recently. Dan compares Dana and Habib and their relationship in the last couple months to like when like you're a kid and the mom steps out, but the dad keeps setting the dinner plate every like a month later, waiting for her to come back. And you're like, Dad, she's not coming back. What are you doing?
Oh, man.
Stop doing it. You're just hurting yourself and everyone around you at this point. So I love that comparison. That was very funny. And it also mentions that on this week's card, they compare whether this week's card or last week's card was worse because it's a real toss-up. And that was before the main event fell out of both of them. Or at least it was before the main event fell out of this week's card and then got replaced again. But John, I believe Dan Tom refers to Jake Collier versus Jean Volante as making the two festive guys fight.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It's, as a festive guy myself, I am quite a fan of it. Let's see. Do you have any other podcasts you listen to you want to shout out before I get to my last catch?
No, that was it for me.
Perfect. So my other catch for this week that was a big one is, man. So the Shawnee Podcasts way back in March 18th of this year. He started doing the rewatch, which is he did the top 25 UFC fights rewatch. I found out later through his posts on Patreon that the list is from a UG post that Kirik did, which makes a lot of sense when you start to see the top of the list, because it's some fucking new school fanboy shit that like is just constantly trying to suck Conor McGregor's dick. Which, I mean, if you've been on the UG or around Kirik in the last decade, that kind of checks out. But that being said, there are some fucking incredible fights on here. And he went back and rewatched all 25. And he's been doing it pretty consistently, a couple of months since then. And he has gotten through all 25. So I finally went back and watched him. I mean, do this for about a month or so, it feels like. And it's fucking awesome, man. He cues you up. He does it in real time. He'll say, I think the first couple he watched ahead of time, but then at a certain point he starts just watching them live with you for the first time in however long it's been. A lot of them are like 10 years or whatever. So he's like queuing up fucking TKZ versus Poirier or Ronda versus Liz Carmouche, Pat Barry versus Czech Congo, Gaethje versus Alvarez. I'm trying to just off the top of my head name.
So just straight violence.
Yeah, like Diego Sanchez, Gilbert Melendez was on there. Oh god,
Diego Sanchez, Clay Guida.
It might have been on there. Gaethje versus Johnson. I mean, there's a million of them, so I don't want to name them all off, but it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, on weeks where there's slow cards, like this is the exact kind of thing I would recommend going back and watching this weekend instead of the UFC card. Is like, if you're like pretty neutral on this weekend's UFC card, which you probably should be, there's no reason to be really excited about it. I would absolutely recommend instead spending the couple hours just going and watching a bunch of wild ass fucking brawls that happened, and I think you would have a lot better time. And yeah, Shawnee's podcast or Shawnee's commentary is fun on top of it. And I recommend it, man. It's I'm always a sucker for going back and doing old content. Like I talked about last week with Kyle and the Fight Site guys doing their Patreon. I think they just call it the Fight Site Patreon podcast. Episode 1 is what they called it. But when they're just going back and looking at like old fights and kind of retrospective stuff, I always enjoy that. Maybe it's because I'm an old fuck. It's probably that. But I dig it. So, I would recommend it. Let's see. Chris, you have any other ones you wanted to shout out?
No, that's it for me. I have some non-MMA shit I'll shout out, but other than that,
Cool. Then, real quick, I will get to, I did listen to a new show this week. I was going to listen to the MMA Analysis, which Dan Tom shouts out all the time on his podcast, and I've been meaning to get to. However, half their team was out this week. I think Wes and Lance were both off. I think they joked about the Americans are off celebrating Thanksgiving in the wrong month, so only the Canadians were there to do their to do it, which is pretty great. So I'm gonna check them out on the next card. And besides, listening to a previous show on a really weak card is a tough way to first hear an episode of that. So instead, I listened to Just Like That, episode 36. They are self-described as the #1 Mike Goldberg-inspired podcast on the planet. It is hosted by Alex and Ryan, and they did a recap of UFC 255, talk about Mike Perry unraveling, and they just kind of talk about stuff that's happened recently. ESPN's new power rankings, which is the dumbest shit. It's basically just like...
I saw that. It's just basically like...
It's basically who we want to push.
Who's the biggest... Who's the biggest icon or kind of like most popular, kind of influential, kind of
I think it's
influential for the sport,
yeah,
I guess, but not in a neutral way.
It seems like the most desperate way for ESPN and the UFC to try and like force fighters into bad situations by using that list. It seems very blatant, in my opinion. But maybe it's because
it's basically like saying, "Hey, lightweight division, you still need to fight Conor to be relevant."
Exactly.
Because now Khabib's gone.
Well, and because they can no longer call Conor relevant in any other category, so they're like, "Well, we have this new category where Conor is now relevant again."
That's why, honestly, I love that he's fighting Poirier again.
Oh, you think that's happening?
I hope it's happening.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't think the Cowboy fight was going to happen either. So what do I know?
I think it'll happen. I think it's gonna happen because Conor thinks it's a winnable fight for him, which and in a lot of aspects it is for sure.
I mean,
based
it's
on
one of
how
the
they
more
match up.
winnable ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and Conor's smart in taking that fight because Dustin's a top, one of the best lightweights in the world, and if he wins that, it's title shot for him next. Whatever happens with that, as far as is Khabib really retired, who knows, right? I don't fucking know.
Conor's never had a rematch, huh?
Yeah, no, it's his first rematch ever. That's what, and I love Poirier's trajectory and how he's looked.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun fight.
Hopefully.
I think it could go either way. Honestly, so that's good. Actually, that's gonna be one of the closer fights to call. So I'm actually really looking forward to that fight, and especially with the rumor of Gaethje and Chandler, and then now I know there's Tony Ferguson and Oliveira, which is gonna be insanely cool. So,
Right.
Yep, lightweight is still just the most exciting division, even without Khabib.
Seems like it. I mean, hard to argue it really throughout history. So, let's see. The other segments they do an Isn't He Awesome segment, which is talking about Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fighting. They also say Dana is awesome for the Whitey Bulger story. They refer to themselves as a Big Dana White podcast. They talk about horny MMA fans, and they preview the Smith vs. Clark card. I will listen to it again, but I don't know. When you refer to yourself as a Big Dana White podcast, that's a tough sell. Let's see.
That's fucking illegal.
Yeah. Oh god. Anyway, let's see. Oh wait, you have not MMA related stuff. So some honorable mentions for me. MMA on the Rocks episode 218 was so close to being catch for me. Honestly, it would have been, except that Bill had a little bit of technical difficulties on his internet connection, so it cut out a little bit here and there, which was unfortunate, but really good episode. And their Mike Perry discussion was really interesting. I believe at one point, I forget which one of them, I think it was Bill, but it might have been Jeff. One of the two of them says that Mike Perry doesn't need a coach, he just needs a dad. And it was the realest shit I've probably ever heard.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It was real as fuck, and I'm here for it. I thought that was an incredible thing.
Speaking of Mike Perry, shout out to Trent Rhinesmith on Twitter for basically calling as it is with proper MMA journalism coverage of just any journalist that asks Mike Perry about the domestic violence allegations should never be,
credited,
just criticized for that. It's bullshit. They're doing their fucking job.
Well, and also, that is the job. That's literally the job, is to ask those questions. And if you're not asking those questions, you're not doing your job. Which, unfortunately, a lot of MMA media, weird. It seems to be ones who sign disclosures. Don't do that shit. They also have stopped reporting on testing protocol completely. I don't know if you noticed that.
Access over integrity, which literally, and I don't use that word a lot because literally is that a lot of people misuse that word, but it is literally a violation of the ethics of journalism. So,
yeah.
Just say in the literal sense, it is.
Yeah, it drives me fucking nuts. And to be fair, a lot of these journalists, it's not their fault. It's the outlet they work. It's the outlet they work for is asking for trash content.
Their boss. Yeah.
All right, well, fuck it. Why am I even pretending? MMA fighting is asking for trash content. MMA Junkie is asking for trash content. They don't want actual reporting.
I unfollowed MMA fighting just this week alone based on this card that I will briefly discuss and be grossed out talking about, especially a certain fighter that needs no attention at all because he's an idiot. And sports, never mind.
You could say that about You could say that about literally any week. To be honest, though, that could have been last week or next week. It's literally every week now. Yeah. It sucks. Anyway, yeah. What doesn't suck is MMA on the Rocks episode 218. It was awesome. Care Don't Care, the Bloody Elbow show for the UFC 255 review was really good. They talk a lot about, I think it was Eugene or Steffi, one of the two of them. Or it could have been John, I'm not sure. One of the three of them. They mentioned that the UFC keeps trying to give Cody Garbrandt the 125 title shot because he's an Endeavor client, despite him almost dying from COVID. But they just keep trying to force that narrative over and over again because he's an Endeavor
he had
client.
4 different injuries.
Well, yeah, and he's still fucked up from COVID on the rigs, so it's frustrating.
Yeah, I really do like Cody Garbrandt. I think he's despite the meatheadedness, right, or whatever. I think he's on it
He turned the corner at a certain point, right?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
he means well
nowadays.
I like his fighting style. He's very quick. He's kind of like those nasty boxer brawlers.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's honestly one of my favorite fighters. I actually really wishes he'd get healthy though. I know it's tough once you kind of hit. I mean, ask Dominic Cruz, right? Ask some of those other guys that have had a lot of setbacks. But because Garbrandt's 29, I mean, now is the point where you kind of have to get healthy once before you hit 30 because
it's not going to go better after 30.
I really want to see that guy.
But then again, with if he's having long-term COVID fucking problems with his heart
dude,
and his head, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of COVID side effects he's having.
I only read briefly about it, but it seems like he's having issues, which is a big bummer.
Because I know he had blood clotting in his bicep.
It was
a torn vein.
Yeah, it was combinations of
or something.
Yeah, of issues with clotting, and then also fogginess and stuff like that, and heart problems. It sounds bad, so positive thoughts and all that for Cody, since he stopped using the N word publicly.
Yeah, that's what we do. So
I mean, to be fair, he was fucking 15 at the time when he was doing that, so whatever. Anyway, so you were saying?
I was gonna say, can you hear me okay? Because you cut out for half a second.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, it clipped for a second, but I think we're fine. Let's see. Heavy Hands episode 344 was really solid. Almost pulled the clip of Connor. Connor literally cursed the Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades fight. They break down that entire fight, and at the end, Connor goes, "Oh, now that we've talked about it, I'm sure it's going to get canceled tomorrow." Because Derek Lewis is going to test positive, and then it turns out Curtis Blades tested positive a day or two later. It's fucking, so 100% you guys can blame Connor for that. Also, shouts out to Connor for coining the only way I will refer to him in the future, the vile Spike Carlisle. That is officially his new nickname, and I will forever refer to him as, shit, I forgot. Okay, Chris, I have a question for you, because yesterday I found out that you were hanging out with people who personally went to high school with Spike Carlisle here in San Diego.
My roommate Victor, he went to high school with him. Spike Carlisle was in the same graduating class. I think it was 2013.
Torrey Pines, right?
Class. Yeah, Torrey Pines. They were laughing their asses off too. I'm like, hey, my buddy Paul was like, yeah, he went to some fucking high school for rich white assholes, and they started laughing.
I think I said rich white kids, not assholes. But I mean, to be fair,
white kids.
I'd be right either way. I dated a girl who went there.
But anyways, Victor, my roommate, knew him because Victor was on the wrestling team. I think for about 2 years. I think. It was
So then he actually knew him because Spike, he did decent.
Yeah. So he said Spike right after high school, I think, had a really good offer from a D1 college. But decided, no, I want to do MMA instead. So he just kind of altogether just I'm not going to do wrestling at NCAA. That's according to him. I don't know. He might have had some experience at NCAA.
It checks out. He has pretty good record. I believe he at least medaled at a couple state competitions. From the bit of research I did a while back.
So the only good thing that Spike Carlisle did in high school, he didn't really go into detail what he did. He said he was just kind of crazy and a douche. That's all he really said. And then the one thing he did though was apparently the quarterback for their high school football team, who was I think he was a big kid. He was a senior. He was 6'4", and is huge.
Right.
And Spike Carlisle's maybe like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah,
It's
he's about my height.
I think you see when Spike was like a sophomore, junior, this dude was a senior. The quarterback just kept saying, "Oh, I could beat anyone's ass. I am literally like the quarterback was so much of an asshole. He was like, I am the baddest kid in school."
This is by the way, when I talk about white kids from Torrey Pines who talk like this in certain ways, that's the dude I'm talking about.
Think of the boss fight from the video game Bully when you fight the jocks.
Right.
This is
Oh,
their
100%. Yeah.
at Torrey Pines.
No, 100%.
And basically, Spike Carlisle, in a weird way, was Jimmy Hopkins. And basically, Victor was telling me,
to be fair,
Spike
redhead.
Carlisle is like, yeah, Spike Carlisle was like, "There's no way you can beat my ass," even though he said Spike Carlisle is way smaller than him.
Well, Spike Carlisle could wrestle in the
he's not. He was smaller in like height.
Yeah.
He said even in high school, Spike Carlisle was jacked. He was just like huge.
He's crazy
wide.
athletic. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said it was a hyped fight, and like people like knew it was gonna happen. And they said it was over pretty quick. Like Spike dumped this jock on his head and just beat the ever-loving shit out of him and just embarrassed him like in front of a bunch of people, and that was that. And that dude just became a bitch. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's a cool story.
For some more instances, but I was just laughing. It's like, dude, why would you like? Especially a wrestler that's like very strong.
Especially a dude like him. Like he
Like,
looks like he can fuck people up. He doesn't look like a Frankie Edgar, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just comes down to I think the only way like that jock has a chance if he also wrestled or
Or
he's
he's
that much
huge,
bigger.
yeah.
Or he like knows how to box properly, say catches at, before he darts or some shit like that. But yeah, he told me that. I thought that was kind of entertaining.
That's hilarious. Wow, there you go. We got some inside scoops on fucking anti-Semitic ass Spike Carlisle. And also,
it's okay though, dude. Spike Carlisle is a Christian. He didn't mean
it. Someone asked me how surprised I am that someone at Torrey Pines High School is anti-Semitic. It's like being like, "Oh, you mean La Jolla Country Day is also anti-Semitic?" Crazy, bro. Fuck. Even though they live around almost exclusively Jews up in the hills of La Jolla. Man.
Yep, especially bishops in La Jolla.
I know, dude. Oh my god, I was around all these kids growing up because I tested well, and even though I was out of fucking regular ass people's schools. And yeah.
Well, see, your parents were smart. They saved a lot of money.
Well, that and I would have gotten kicked out of all those fucking plays. I didn't even make it. I lasted at UC High for fucking 6 weeks before I got kicked out because I was mouthing off to teachers too much. And then I ended up
say
in
if your
Madison.
parents wanted to spend money, do you think you would have gone to like uni?
No.
Well, no, but you're in Claremont, so I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I would
think what the fuck's the closest private school to Claremont? Horizon's not really private. I mean,
it was, but like that was only like there. My parents, hey Chris, this is a problem I never would have had because my parents never would have spent the money. How about that?
There you go.
So problem solved.
I don't know if your parents were Catholic because if they were, then they would have sent you to Saints.
Oh no,
so
I would have gotten kicked out of that school. I would have gotten kicked out of school the first day.
You were you're like 2 or 3 grades. You're like two grades above. I would have seen you there briefly, and I'm like, all right, see you, dude.
Dude, I would have been there for a day before I called a priest a pedophile and got kicked out. It would have been a day. I'm telling you right now. The first motherfucker that opened their mouth to me, I'd be like, well, if you weren't so busy fucking kids, this wouldn't be a problem, and I'd be gone. Because I did way worse shit than that. I got a mouth on me. I don't know if you noticed. And I got some feels. So anyway, we are so off topic. This is gonna be a fun commentary. I think that weed kicked in at some point. In the vivisection for UFC Vegas 15 was really good. Connor was hiccuping the whole time, and then they started making jokes about how he's gagging because of how bad the card is. It was a lot of fun. MMA ratings podcast for UFC 285 recap was really solid. Schwan Hume, I mean, notoriously one of the best dudes at breaking down fights, and I'm here for it every time. Black Jordan Breen on Twitter is how you probably know him. Him and Rafael Garcia are like, I don't shout out this podcast nearly enough. It's really, really fucking good, and it's one of my go-to listens every week for breakdowns. Speaking of go-to listen for breakdowns, Protect the Neck, episode 232 is really solid also. Dan Tom talks about how Dan Tom literally went through a series of explanations that I feel like I have literally said out loud to people in the past, which is, he's like, man, so you know how sometimes you're a fan of someone, but like everyone else gets so hyped about them, you end up having to hate the band or the person. It's like, that's how I felt about AFI. Like, I loved AFI in the first couple, like early on, but then AFI fans made me hate AFI. I was like, dude, that is 100. Like, what is it?
You're talking about the band, right?
Yeah. They're the first album.
Yeah, like just look at just like their first 2 albums, and
dude,
then like
that's exactly what I said on
Green
Twitter.
Day route. They basically go the Green Day route.
Well,
the Green Day route where it's like the original sound is cool, and then you realize, wait, we like.
Well, their
Money
original
more
sound
than
was like
our
fucking
thing.
straight up punk rock. It was like,
that's what I'm saying.
They literally had a song.
I'm not saying Green Day is punk rock because they've never been
punk
rock.
They were not punk rock early in their first album, but way less than AFI though. AFI had songs like "I Want to Get a Mohawk, but
like
Mom
Total
won't let me get
Immortal.
one,"
or like Total Immortal, or like The Boy Who Sold the World, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. Or like those first 2 AFI albums. It was what the here? Let me pull them up. It was fucking. They were really good.
They went from that to.
That's right.
Hey,
Answer that.
Yeah. Take my time. Well.
Yeah, Answer That and Stay Fashionable was a legit punk album. Like, that's a legit punk album. And then, actually, no, it's the first 4 are pretty okay. Black Sails in the Sunset is pretty solid. The Art of Drowning is like, and Sing the Sorrow is like right around the range where everyone starts getting unbearable that's in their fan base. I feel like I have very similar feelings about Coheed, where like Coheed seemed fine as a band, and I kind of didn't hate it, but all of their fans were so goddamn unbearable that you're like, I don't want to hear about your storybooks anymore, bro.
Are you talking about Coheed and Cambria?
Yeah.
I've met one person that likes them, and then like the way they described them, I'm like, damn, dude, you're like talking about like they're this fucking second coming of just some.
No, they are 100%. It goes the most annoying fans that I've come across in recent years have got to be like Tool fans and Coheed fans are like right as neck and neck.
Hey, you know
like,
who you don't say
how
that
many
to?
times do you have to hear the phrase math rock until you get angry?
So you know who you don't say that to? Nate Diaz, because Tool's like his favorite band ever.
Dude,
I'm not even kidding.
I don't doubt it, and to be fair, I love Tool. That album with the fucking I Know the Pieces Fit. I listened to that shit and Obliteralis, maybe something like that. But I listened Lateralis. Thank you.
I think I know what you're getting at. Tool is awesome. I like Tool. I still listen to it, but it's one of those things where like the hardcores.
Oh yeah, no.
Stay away from me. Like, I don't
100%. I don't want to have to hear about Tool as much as I like Tool. Yeah. Like, although I will say, the greatest experience you'll ever have.
Maynard Keenan's wine.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, that's not good wine. It's really, really fucking middle. Like, it's Trader Joe's $8 wine. It's not good. It's so middle of the road, bland and generic. It's fucking very, very generic. Fucking don't. Yeah, it's fine. It's exactly what you expect celebrity booze to be.
So one other band, then that you mentioned, Tool, that I will still listen to, and I like them a lot because their sound was very unique, was System of a Down, but their hardcore fans, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Although they personally are supposed to be like the coolest motherfuckers. First off, they all are super big stoners, and they just used to get really high and go get Armenian food with Corolla and Jimmy Kimmel all the time.
Yeah. The only unfortunate thing is they all hate each other. Well, it's mostly just the two. It's the lead Serge Tankian and then Darren Malakian, the backup vocals and rhythm guitar. They hate each other, and unfortunately, that's why they didn't record for like forever. Yeah. But then this year they came out with 2 new singles because they had to talk about what's going on in Armenia, where they're all from.
Yeah. No shit.
So that's what's sad. It takes like a fucking genocide to them to get back together. But
to be fair. Nah, I was going to make fucked up UFC jokes, but I'm not going to do it. Oh, actually, no, you know what? I will do it. It took a genocide to get Kamaru Usman paid, but he still got paid going to see fucking Kadyrov. Fuck Kamaru Usman, let it be said. Fuck anybody who takes money from that fucking asshole racist.
Oh, it makes me so upset.
homophobic piece of shit. Fuck Kadyrov. Fuck people who associate with Kadyrov. Fuck people who associate with Ali Abdelaziz's homophobic ass. I'm done with that shit. Anyway, I'm wrapping this. Yeah, I'm wrapping this right now. The last two ones is Best Camp of My Life, episode 6, which is Fernanda Prachas' podcast. She talks with Megan O'Leary about kind of how Megan got into the sport, and it's a really interesting discussion. I liked it quite a bit. Kind of on a similar note, Fitz Nation, which is Brendan Fitzgerald's podcast, is what he renamed it to. Episode 44, he had Laura Senko on to kind of talk about a pretty similar kind of, you figure they're doing somewhat similar jobs. If I was just tell you to listen to one of the two, I would say maybe the Laura Senko one, just because she tells some pretty crazy stories, including, that Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, was the one who recommended her for the UFC gig. Because she knows him from, her, weird investment, fucking angel investor background that she had when she was, in college. It's really weird. It's a crazy story.
Yeah, that's an odd connection.
Yeah, so if you want to hear a crazy story, that's one. And then lastly, Coming Event Podcast, episode 429, they did an All Questions Considered episode, which was really solid. And then Fights Gone By, episode 243, where... Jack Sock had a lot of he had cool and interesting kind of breakdowns on not only Fig's nasty arming guillotine setups, as well as Antonina getting a stoppage by pulling a full lad with the screaming ground and pound, and Goldie and Big John podcasting their way through the McKee finish of Caldwell. So really solid overall. Let's see, Chris, you said you had a couple well-rounded.
Yeah, listen to Bill Burr's podcast, the one from on Thursday.
Hell yeah, Monday or the Thursday afternoon.
The Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast.
Yeah.
He and his lovely wife Nia were discussing how Bill said white people dance like they spice their food.
Oh my god!
As well as black people dance how they spice their food. White people dance where it's just too much salt, and black people dance where the seasoning's just right. But if it's a little overboard, it's because they over-season it a little bit, which kind of triggered his wife, and they kind of got in an argument.
That checks out. Well, because she called him an oppressor, and
she didn't go that far, but she did say, though, however,
hilarious.
she was like, Bill, your mother is a fantastic cook, though.
Okay.
It was pretty... It was just a fun and very entertaining, short 30 minutes.
Nia's hilarious.
Especially when his wife is on there, just because...
Yeah, Nia's super, super funny.
They're very much alike, and they're very condescending, and, they easily get triggered. And it's not an insecurity that's based on... their own, I think, personal beliefs. I think it's kind of...
No, I think they just talking
anytime
shit.
They're challenged.
Yeah. I think they just talking shit. They sound a lot like me and girlfriend Karen, to be honest. Where we're just talking shit, but we're both laughing about it.
There was that. He does, his quick sports recaps. Other well-rounded stuff. Or other random shit. I saw Guitar Center is going out of business.
What?
So I will be going there. I will be going there
shit.
to definitely take advantage of their crazy sales they're about to have.
Yeah, let me know if you see. I could probably use a new acoustic, and if they're going to be crazy sales, I might go pick up a Taylor or something nice.
Yeah, my brother he doesn't have, he wants to get an acoustic, and I was saying, dude, they might have mini Taylors on sale.
I'm sure you can get especially if you just want
I might get
I know
someone's like, bro, why would you get another acoustic? I don't know if I'll get another acoustic because the Yamaha I have is decent. I think I'll get a very nice acoustic amp, or one of those this is what I would get if it's on sale, or I might get another microphone because I want to do some more jamming sessions in my garage. I know Trevor's gone, and
you guys do got a dope garage for it though.
Yeah, because I want to talk to Blake. I want to start doing some garage sessions with jazz.
Dude, why not? Blake can absolutely sit in and jazz drum on just about anything.
And he has a bass guitar. I could just have Kyle or myself. I'll just do a simple bass line I could play, and then I don't know what I'll sing. But as long as it's very low, I can do something.
Yeah.
It's something I've been thinking about a lot. I really want to do that. I think
that'd be
fun.
tight, dude. You should do it. Well, hey,
fuck
it. Worst case, maybe we'll
have like a fucking cigar lounge too, or something.
There you go. Worst case, maybe we'll pull some of the audio eventually and use it for a segment or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So yeah, let's think about that. And then as far as other off-topic stuff, and just a fair warning, I will be talking about this in about 2.5, 3 weeks. Cyberpunk comes out on the 10th.
Oh, so I.
That's why like it's kind of fucked up. Like if we were to get shut down again in San Diego, I wouldn't mind because it's like, well, at least I got Cyberpunk.
Dude.
Like, God damn it.
That shit where I'm like, I've been eyeballing graphics card prices just because of that game. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it's like, because I remember someone was telling me, like, oh, dude, why don't you get it for PS5? I'm like, you realize none of that's available, right?
Well, and it's like, those games are so built for PC. Like, CD Projekt Red games are made for PC. They work
like,
great on
consoles. If I had a
consoles,
badass PC,
but
I would just do that.
Yeah.
But let's get it for the current Xbox I have, so I'll just be playing it in 4K at 30 frames, which, whatever, that's fine. It's it's not like I'm playing a fast-paced FPS. It's an RPG.
Sure. Oh my god, I'm legit gonna piss myself. So Chris, why don't you think of another thing to talk about for 4 minutes, and I'll be right back. Oh god, this should be interesting. Let's see how Chris gets fucking picked.
Let's see, there's something obvious I should talk about. I would talk Mandalorian, but then I'd be posting a lot of spoilers, and a lot of people probably aren't caught up. So I'm not going to do that. All right, so movie stuff, because I'm a big movie guy. A trailer I saw that offended the hell out of me is apparently they're making a Clifford the Big Red Dog movie. I unfortunately saw a trailer for that and wanted all 90 seconds of that back. It was very insulting to anyone's intelligence who wants to watch that. Speaking of animation, there was also another trailer I saw that insulted me. It was a Tom and Jerry film that I had no idea was happening. It's live action. Think Looney Tunes back in action from like 2005. But the CGI on this looks like it's from 2007. Really fucking terrible. Other movie stuff. There's a movie with English actor Tom Holland, who we know as Spider-Man. Is doing a movie called Cherry. It's based off a novel. I don't know when it came out. About I don't know if it's like a first Gulf War vet or just, I guess, Desert Storm 2 veteran, Army veteran, where I've never read.
I'm back.
So
How'd you do,
I'm
Chris?
ignorant to the fact about the book, but the movie, there hasn't been a trailer yet, but it's directed by the Russo brothers, who did the later Captain America films and Avengers films, and that movie.
I should have known this is where this was going to go.
Oh no! But see, you don't even know what movie I'm talking about.
I don't.
Yeah, so there's this. I was talking about before. 2 movie trailers that offended my brain cells. There was a movie trailer for a Tom and Jerry live action movie, which looks trash.
Oh, okay, that's
it's
horrifying sounding.
The CGI looks like it's from 2007.
Okay.
And it's trying to be like a Looney Tunes back in action where it's live action and just all of it.
Might have to do mushrooms and watch that. Keep going.
I will join you in that.
Yeah, that sounds like it
and then
might be a
the
thing.
worst trailer I saw this week was a trailer for Clifford the Big Red Dog. Don't look at it.
I've been hearing things about this. I haven't seen it.
But the movie that I'm hyped for is a movie called Cherry, which is based on a novel about like an army veteran who has crazy PTSD, comes back and does like bank heists. And it's with Tom Holland, Spider-Man. And it's directed by the Russo brothers. That's when you came in and you're like,
Nice.
oh, I see this guy.
That's a dope impression of me. I think you nailed it, bro.
Yeah.
Ow! All you guys sound like fucking Gilbert
Well,
Gottfried.
We're like, all right, guys, I don't That's my impression of you.
Pretty solid, dude.
I can't just laugh.
It's pretty good. It really, honestly, it's pretty close to. I would liken it to to Big J Okerson and Dave Smith's impression of Louis J Gomez. Just, oh, buddy. Fucking, it's pretty good, dude. All right, so I went and took a piss break because I realized I had a fuckload of well-roundeds to mention, or at least a couple. And the first was, Chris, right before we started this, I made you watch a video by Cisco Mode, Ciscomode on YouTube. This is a young kid. I have no idea his age. I know he's younger than me just based on the people he's hanging out with.
That's the video I watched, right?
Yeah.
I would guess he's probably about like 23, 24.
Something 25. Like that, right? Like, having not ever seen dude, because I think he's always behind the camera. But like I told you when I showed you this, honestly, I've never seen a video that makes me feel more like I made it 10 years ago than this. I made a ton of skate videos growing up, like, about a decade, 15 years ago, something like that.
Do you still have them?
Somewhere. Like, I gotta dig them out.
Because, dude, that's one of those things that you need. You don't need to do. They
used to be on.
If you were to find them,
I used to have them.
It would not only make you fucking stoked, but a lot of your friends that were happy. Because it's like, I remember I tried to find a video I made. Yeah. I was like 13, 14, and it got lost. And I was so bummed.
Yeah, I've got it. I had them around. Like, I posted them over the years, but like, this was forever ago on like fucking MySpace and shit. I think is where I originally hosted them. I think they're on a drive. I think they're on one of the drives I have somewhere now that he just moved for the millionth time. Hopefully, I think they are. But anyway, of course, growing up in San Diego, everybody made skate videos, especially in the 90s and 2000s. And it's really cool seeing these young kids now making skate videos that have hella 90s and 2000s vibes, fucking 2 decades later almost. It's wild to see. This honestly feels like something I made. And Chris, you watched it, like, doesn't it feel like someone you knew made a decade ago? In like the best way.
Yeah, there are definitely some folks that come to mind.
Yeah, like, and I don't mean that to be like it feels old or feels like kind of like homemade. I just mean it feels like it has such a vibe of like late 90s, early 2000s. Just with the song choice and like the editing choices, I absolutely fell in love with it. I think we're actually the highlighted comment because I mentioned to him how much I fell in love with it. I think it's an incredible video. I like a lot of the stuff he's doing. He's a young kid, and so they are doing some of those videos are we'll say a little questionable in the decision making they're doing in some of those. But you know, they always pay it off in a way that, like, I don't know. I don't want to get too in depth about it, but my point is, please go subscribe to Cisco Mode and go tell him to do some more content, because specifically his Slab City video that he did is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And if you're from Southern California, or even if you might have heard of Slab City because of skate videos and stuff like that. Essentially, it's a community out in the desert that is like self-regulated, and it's a really interesting story, interesting place, and a fucking incredible video that Cisco Mode made. So please go subscribe to that so I can watch more of his videos so that he'll make more. Because that dude is currently working a day job and doesn't have the free time, according to him. So please go support, dude. Speaking of dudes making great content down here in San Diego, Jaycation is my other one that I will ask people to go check out. He did a live stream where essentially he goes to Balboa Park and he walks through all of Balboa Park and just does a live stream asking people like, hey, where do you want me to check out? Like, he checks out the fucking Oregon Pavilion. He checks out the Japanese Friendship Garden. He goes up and down all the areas. He goes over to the zoo. He goes by the railroad, the Rose Garden, fucking everything. The Aerospace Museum, Starlight Bowl. Actually, speaking of Starlight Bowl, maybe go check
probably
out.
the Ribbon H Fleet Science Center.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the Starlight Bowl, maybe go check out Cisco Mode's videos for a certain abandoned theater that I think might have something to do with that. But yeah, it's a fucking... Jaycation has been doing a series of videos all throughout San Diego, just on like the beach cities, because he's from here. I mean, shit, I found out during that Balboa Park stream, me and him were both born at the same fucking hospital, Sharp Memorial in North Park, shout out, or Hillcrest. I feel like most people were born in Sharp Memorial and Hillcrest. If you were if you were born here in the early or in the late '80s, but yeah, fucking loving the dude's content. He shouted out Rocky's Burgers down, which is a couple blocks away from where I just moved, and it's also, you guys, if you're a longtime MMA fans who are subscribed to the Co-Main Event Patreon, I believe on a Q&A back in the day, Ben Folk said the one place he misses in San Diego is he misses going and getting a beer and a burger at Rocky's down in PB. So maybe Chris and I'll do a video of that here at some point when COVID gets a little less sketchy.
It's been a minute since I've been to Rockies.
It's fucking incredible, and they actually have some outdoor seating and stuff nowadays too. So maybe one of these days, me and Chris will go there, and I'll bring a CME koozie or something. But yeah, shouts out to Jaycation though. That dude's videos have been awesome, and if you guys all are interested in San Diego, like, there's not a better way to get into seeing what San Diego's like in the different areas than Jaycation stuff. Let's see. Other stuff I'll just shout out quickly. Sixth and Jump. This is the 21 Jump Street podcast that Big Jay Okerson, Ari Shafir, and Dan Soder do together. Really funny. They watch 21 Jump Street and talk shit. Fucking great. Their episodes have been awesome lately. I've been catching up. The Soggy Dollar Bar. This is the place that invented the drink, the painkiller. It's called the Soggy Dollar Bar because it's in... Here, I can figure this out while I'm talking. It is in the middle of the Caribbean on an island in the British Virgin Islands. Jos Van Dyke, I believe, is technically the name of it in the British Virgin Islands. Essentially, this is the bar where the painkiller came from. And it's called the Soggy Dollar Bar because you have to literally like drop anchor offshore with your boat and walk up to the bar. So of course everybody's dollars are soggy. And it's fucking incredible. They have a live stream where they just look at the beach and you can see people ordering drinks. It's real pretty. I recommend it. La Perla Cocina. Chris, you ever had La Perla? Mexican food. So there's a couple in PB and there's one somewhere else also. I forget where the other one is. But it is fucking great Mexican food. I mean, there's great Mexican food everywhere in San Diego. However, Chris, they make a Oaxaca, California. I still don't know the right way to fucking emphasize which syllable to hit with the emphasis. But it's called the Oaxaca, California burrito, which is essentially a California burrito inside a quesadilla because it's Oaxaca and California combined.
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible and really dangerous. So shout out to that.
Sounds like a trip to gastritis or digestion tract problems.
Oh, for sure. If you want to get yourself some Brock Lesnar diseases, that is a good way to go about it.
So he had diverticulitis, but it's a little same. Well, I mean, not the same.
There's a lot of carne in that. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then the other ones I want to shout out quickly. Bomb Bites, which was the edibles I ate earlier, that are clearly working pretty well. I'm pretty sure. The Petra Mints, which I also ate earlier, that are working pretty well. Hey, Dan Tom stopping in. Seeing French Phil talking film. Oh, Dan Tom, you missed a whole ass segment about Gasparino, in which I have to strongly warn people not to watch Gasparino fills if they're light.
Oh no! By the way, I am gonna watch one of those films because remember I'm a movie guy, and so I have to watch it.
Okay, Chris. Well, are you gonna report back next week on the movie Irreversible? Because I don't want to. I'm not telling you to watch. I'm not telling you to watch that movie.
Oh no! My answer is probably gonna be like this. Yeah, it was fucked up. And then that's about it.
I mean, I feel like you're going to have more to say than that. I'll let you see it.
I'll probably give you like a short answer and then like my in-depth answer. Right. So like I'll just give you two different...
I just love Dan Tom in chat going, oh, Jesus. Because Dan knows exactly what Chris is in for. And Chris does not. I'm trying to tell.
That makes me more excited and intrigued more than anything.
Excited is... Start with Irreversible. Yeah. It has to be Irreversible as the first one.
Oh, no. I'll check it out for sure.
Okay. Well, Chris...
It'll be fun. Actually, it probably won't be fun at all.
No,
I think what I'll do is I'll be
interesting.
sober, because if I'm inebriated, that's cheating. So I'll be sober. and
No,
watch it.
yeah, you have to be. I would recommend
Yeah.
not smoking weed before that one, though.
Yeah.
I would go in with like, I don't know, coffee, or like I don't know if you have access to like Adderall or something. Maybe that's the way to go about it. I don't know.
I think I'd rather do cocaine and Adderall.
I
but,
mean, to be fair, one of the two is probably the way to go about it if you're gonna try and get through that thing. Oh boy, Chris, I wish you the best, and I would not assign you that movie. Let me put it this way: don't call me Anderson Callan, because you're not my ball Brian in this situation. I would not try and put that on you. Anyway, all right, we'll go ahead and wrap this here. But shouts to Dan Tom for dropping in at the end there. Big shout. Also, since Dan wasn't here earlier, we did mention that the 1-2 Punch podcast that he and Shaq did was fucking awesome, and you guys should definitely check that out. It's what spawned way too much Gasper No talk on this podcast, so definitely recommend that. And then we are going to take off because we are going to record our commentary for the brand new movie Jiu-Jitsu starring Nick Cage that we are going to be
the
recording
rumor
right
is it
after
may or
this.
may not include any jiu-jitsu at all. We'll have
The
to find
rumor
out.
is there's zero jiu-jitsu in it. It's what I've been hearing. I should also say I did not listen to this week the Shots Fired podcast, because they actually talked about jiu-jitsu, and I wanted to come in completely blind to this movie. And so,
Oh, and good news is my brother Kyle just got back, so he'll be joining us.
fuck yeah! Well, good news. I have a joint already rolled, which is actually that looks like a
Yeah,
cigarette.
my brother's got the
But it's a
homegrown. So you know
joint.
what? I gotta go see what he's doing now, just to make sure he remembers.
Yeah,
that
well,
we're doing this.
we're gonna wrap this, and then we'll be back. We're gonna record that offline, and then I will get it posted. Probably my goal is Tuesday or Wednesday, but I got some Smith and Cross. I may or may not be drinking. I definitely am gonna smoke this joint, and then I do have some dabs, and I do have this sweet new Hawaiian hash dab rig that I may or may not be using. So it might get real fucked up in this commentary. We recommend you guys also drink and smoke appropriately, because going into this sober seems like a mistake. So we'll be back for that, and we will have that out on our regular podcast feed, and eventually I'll get it chopped up and get the audio portion put on YouTube as well. So till then, Chris, you have anything you want to give a shout out to before we get out here? Oh, we should also mention, if you're in San Diego, go to Sandwich Emporium. Get the Thanksgiving sandwich. It's the best.
The Thanksgiving 1776 or 77, something like that. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's fucking so good. Cool, man. Chris, anything else?
That's it from me.
Perfect. Well, then we are out, and we will be back with that commentary. So until next week, y'all. Oh, also, we're probably not breaking down the card next week, Chris. I think probably not.
We're not.
It's real bad. So instead, we're gonna do another movie commentary or fight card commentary. I'm not sure which yet, but one of them. So look forward to that. Till then, everybody, go do something decadent. And shouts out to Dan, Tom, and chat. Until then, y'all, we out, and I don't know, get something proper to smoke, because this Nick Cage shit's gonna be fucking ridiculous. Like,
Well, that's right.
well, let's go.
Liked by the sound of violence.